Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is the fourth kind 4, the Azorius Synthesizer that will show opponents and their men that the truth is indeed out there. We're out to abduct enemy men to clear the way for our robot overlords. We've got a lineup that helps us find our key weapons as well as the enemy men abducting hovership. We've brought in a ninja turtle that can help us with creating token copies of our artifacts. For us, it's another day of using our robot overlords to take over the world, but for the opponent's men, they get to experience a close encounter of the fourth kind. Let's get the shell in there. We're playing the full set of Stormchaser's talent, the 1-mana enchantment that gives us an otter token when it enters play. We've used the talent before in different decks for its powerful ability to get an instant or sorcery from our grave back to our hand. In this deck, we want to get back a United Battlefront to play a second, third, or even fourth time. The more times we play a Battlefront, the greater our advantage could be. We can get back a 3 steps ahead in the case that the Battlefront does not arrive. And while we can level the talent all the way to level 3, chances are we won't need to. By then, we should have more than enough robot overlords to get the job done. 3 steps ahead is a staple of our synthesizer decks for all the different options it gives us. The most important option is the copy artifact mode, which allows us to generate a surprise synthesizer. Generally, when we make a token copy of a factory, we end up coming out on top. And while we have another way of making a token copy, the ability to have a factory pop up at instant speed can change the course of a game. We can also copy other artifacts, the hovership, for example, if we need additional removals. And once we have a token copy, we can use the helm to make additional copies. Cryogenic Relic is an amazing artifact. For 2 mana, we get an extra draw, and we can use the relic to slow down an enemy, and we'll draw a second extra card. And it is perfectly situated to help us out in the case of a shuffler special. Perilous Snare is one of our artifact removals. With it, we can take any non-land permanent away from the opponent. It is 3 mana and will generate robot overlords when we have a factory in play, giving us an advantage on board immediately. We take away one of their things and gain a body. The snare does have start your engines, which will let us add stat boosting counters to our men once we hit max Verstappen speed. Unidentified Hovership will abduct an enemy when it enters play. Once on board the hovership, the enemies are never seen again. Even if the hovership is destroyed, they won't get their men back. Instead, they get to manifest dread, which is fine. Most of the time, manifesting dread gives the opponent a useless body that ends up blocking. Another reason to love the hovership in the deck is that it gives us a 2/2 flying body that we can use to swing in. All we need is one of our men to get through unblocked, and we can sneak in. Donatello, Gadget Master. This ninja turtle comes in with a sneak of 2 mana, and once he hits the opponent, will give us a copy of any artifact we control. It's an amazing ability that can either turn a game around or give us an overwhelming advantage. While he might not get through for a second hit, the damage was done with the first hit, since we can replay the hovership we bounced for another abduction and generate more robot overlords in the process. The synthesizer is our key card. Once the factory comes online, we can slash prices, and even the opponent will be able to afford a shiny new robot overlord or 2. And we save them money on shipping, delivery is always free, and we drop them off right at their face. To the face. The helm is an amazing card once we start generating robot overlords, or if we are able to make a token synthesizer. With every token artifact we get, the helm will also generate a map token, and making a pile of those will boost the stats of our robot overlords. And we can even use those tokens to help pull lands off the top of our deck. Sygg's command is a little surprise we have for the opponent. It gives us 4 different options, but we're only concerned with 3 of those. We can give our robot overlords lifelink for the turn, an ability that can turn the tide of a game or pull us so far ahead the opponent cannot catch up. We can also use it to draw a card, but the final ability is what we'll likely be using since we can tap down a blocker or their most dangerous attacker. Either way, the advantage could help us take the game. All Fate Scroll is a mana artifact. It will tap for any color mana we need, and later in the game, We can sacrifice it to draw cards equal to the number of differently named lands we control. With the mana base we have, we can end up drawing as many as 7 fresh ones. United Battlefront is our top end. The Battlefront is an absolute powerhouse card in any Azorius synthesizer. This can fetch out our most powerful cards without us having to play them out individually. And with 2 of our permanents coming into play, they will enter simultaneously, which will trigger a factory if we pull 1 and a 3 mana artifact. And if we already have a synthesizer on board, this adds more fuel to the fire. Planetarium of Tong is our real top end, but since we only play a single copy, we're not relying on it to show up in most games. When it does and we can play it out, the advantage it gives us could be critical. The Scry is a serious advantage since it could help us find our key card, but getting a card to play out for free and at instant speed could swing any game. For lands, we're playing 3 Fountainport, the special land that can generate tokens or sacrifice them to draw an extra card. 2 Restless Anchorage, the Azorius Man land. 4 Meticulous Archive, the Azorius Surveil land. 4 Floodfarm Verge, the plains that becomes a duel when we have a plains or island in play. 4 Island, 4 plains, and 2 Adagia, Windswept Bastion, the special land that can let us make token copies of our artifacts after we station 12 power worth of men. Playing the deck is all about using our cards to find a factory and start building a team of robot overlords. Use our removals to snipe enemies and generate more AI men on our side. Making a token copy of a factory will often give us a huge advantage that is difficult to overcome, especially when we have a Helm start making even more copies. Battlefront is a card that can multiply our advantage, so aim to fire off as many of those as possible. Everyone will help us find cards we need or generate more men. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is the Bifrost. No, wait, it's Zifrost. He's got a little Pinocchio thing going. We're kicking things off with a mono-white shuffler special. Not only do we need a 3rd land, we'll need it to be able to provide blue mana. That's too much to ask from the shuffler. Mull. Then we get a 3-lander with a good mix of lands, and we've got a factory with ways to trigger it. This is a solid hand. Keep. We'll ship the Helm. We've got an extra draw along with a Scry, too, to help find more ammo. They play out the tiny boned wonder. Let's hurry up and take our turn before he starts telling us about his tiny bone. The Relic gives us a 4th land, which is what we need for a surprise synthesizer. It's all coming together. They check out our Relic. Then they throw down a Vlad the Impaler. We're going to take some damages before we can get some defenders. But I think we can do it. Our factory will let us start slashing prices. We'll take a look at the top 2 and hopefully we have something to help us build our board. And we have a land and a battlefront. We can fire it off on our very next turn, but we'll ship the land. They go with a Blood Hustler. But did they miss a land drop? It's time for the battlefront. We can gain a huge advantage depending on what we get. That's a pair of talents. It's not the strongest cards, but we do get a pair of blockers. And we still have the 3 steps ahead waiting to make a surprise synthesizer. They hit us with the negotiations. We'll have to give up a card. The land might be the easiest thing to let go. They send it. We'll block up the tiny boned wonder. He can go smoke one. I see they have another one. We draw a command, but our best play is going to be a surprise synthesizer. They hit us with a duress, and we'll take the opportunity to make our surprise synthesizer. They can take a card out of our hand, but they can't take cards off the top of our deck. We have a land and a 3 steps ahead. We'll take the surprise synthesizer, but the land can go on down. They take the command, which is fair. That's a card that could change the situation for a turn or 2. They hit us with a second negotiations, and that will take our last card. They can take our life, but they'll never take our freedom. They send it, and we'll block up. We'll take down Vlad the Impaler and their tiny boned wonder. That leaves them with a board of 1. They throw down a Bandit's Hall. It's a mana artifact to help them build on what they have. They send it, and it's time for a second surprise synthesizer. We'll get a pair of robot overlords, and we can smash their hustler. On top, we have a relic and a talent. We'll take the relic first. That will draw us the talent. And with talents, we can get back our battlefront. With multiple fronts, we should be able to hit on our powerful permanents. Let's level up a talent and preload our hand. They have to choose between taking our men out or taking our hand out. They play another version of the Tiny Boned Wonder. It's a blocker, but it won't be enough. They follow up with a Tiny Bones joins up, and we'll have to toss a card. Clearly, we can afford to lose the relic. Fire in the Tiny Bones hole. That's an excellent set of cards on top before we can pick They Lose Their Head. That's GG's, extra Robot Overlord cheese. This is Svine. He likes birdseed, pooping on cars, and waking you up at 5 in the morning. We get a Shuffler special with a pair of talents, a snare, our utility card, and a Donatello. This looks like a bad hand. It's a lot of do nothing. Mull. Then we get a 3-lander with double relic, a 3 steps ahead, and a talent. This does give us a draw, plus we have lands that enter untapped. Keep will send the talent on down. We want the relics for the card draw. We draw a scroll, but we need some real ammo. And then our relic draws us a second scroll. They play out a channeler, but they don't have a way to gain life. Yet. We get a command which could help, but let's go with relic draw. The more we dig, the better our chances to find our key card. Or we'll draw a second 3 steps ahead. They play out a doll shop. They'll be able to grow their team, but I still don't see any life gain. We'll go with one of our mana artifacts. Even copying one of our permanents isn't that much help to us. They play a Dazzling Angel, and their life gain has arrived in the winged form. They send it, and they'll get a second token, as well as some pump for their channeler. We draw the only copy of the Planetarium, which we can play out on our next turn. We'll want another mana to be able to activate it. We'll fire off the command. We can at least slow them down and draw yet another card. We get a third 3 steps ahead. It's not the card we'd have liked to see. They play out a second channeler. It does give them some life and some pump, and they'll get more life and another pump when they send it. We draw a Fountainport, and we'll be able to drop in the Planetarium. With the mana left, we can activate it. Although at this point, we don't have a card to save us. On top, we have a snare and a battlefront. Let's put the battlefront on top, and we might get some removals to help shift the tide of the game. We get the snare we knew about, and a talent. Another removal would have been nice. they drop in an Exemplar, it's additional life gain which pumps their channelers, and they might have enough to get us. That's Exactsies, and that's GG's. Sometimes the shuffler does win. This is Judas Priest. Rob Hafford is at the controls. Let's get ready to play some Turtles the Gathering. We get a shuffler special for this one. We have a Battlefront and a scroll. All we need is a third land, and we can fire off our top-end card. The talent will give us a blocker token to hold us up while we draw into some of our weapons. Keep your pants. On we draw a third land right away. We're set to drop in our scroll on our third turn, then follow up with the Battlefront. They play out an Authority. While it is a great way to slow down enemies, our robot overlords end up getting so big that the life gain doesn't matter that much. We'll drop in our talent. The token has a chance to do some damages to counteract their life gain. Their play is a green overlord. They have some ramp of their own, but they are still without men on board. It's time for our scroll to get in there, then we can follow up with the second talent. Our first otter will be blessed with some pump, and we'll have a pair of bodies to work with. They go with the green OJ. I wouldn't drink any if it was green. I don't trust. While their OJ is scary, with or without gloves that fit, we're going with our Battlefront, and we can easily score one of our artifact removals. That is a snare and a factory. We'll get our first robot overlord, the Shell, in there. Their OJ is going to prison. At least justice was done in MTG, if not in real life. On top we have a relic and a snare. They have to crush our men with a board wipe. We'll rebuild easily enough. We've got more ammo on the way, plus we can use the talents to get our Battlefront back for another go. We could snare their overlord, but we can play out the second scroll, then plant our helm, and we'll get a pair of men that will be ready to crush some skulls. They go with a big bear, which would be scary, but our men are bigger. The sale is on at the factory outlets, bro. Spend a little and get a lot. We'll use the snare to take out their Lumra. We'll get another robot overlord, and they lose their bear. Note that we could play out the command and tap down their overlord, but this game is over no matter what we do. The age of Una came and went, and there is no bringing it back. They surprise us with a surprise. But men with 14 power and toughness are not easy to find in the current standard. That's what they'll need to be able to have their men survive. But that won't let them survive. Oh wait, We get a white overlord, and that gives them a pair of tokens they can also block with. All I see are dead men. Let's get our Battlefront back, then we can play out the Relic. And that gets us a second Battlefront. So easy. Even a caveman could do it. You know, they don't have anything when they start eating their food tokens. That's GG's extra robot overlord cheese. This is Maho Master. He's in room 13 if you want to see him in person. We get a shuffler special with triple 3 steps ahead. With nothing great to copy, this is a mull. Then we get a shuffler special with a mix of cards that could potentially give us a chance. Keep. We'll send a Helm on down. They're good, but not great early. They drop in an Infestation Sage. It already smells like Sephiroth and we haven't even played a land yet. We draw a third land in the form of an Adagia, and we'll play it. They swamp cycle a crawler. I just need to see that it's not the land cycler that hits for damages equal to the number of swamps they have. That thing is dangerous. This one, not so much. We draw a factory, and you have to love the opponent being on mono black. They can't do a thing to stop our artifacts. They can snipe our men all day long, but they can't destroy artifacts. We'll play out our factory now that we hit 3 mana. We've got some excellent cards for our next turn, but let's see if we can find more. On top, we have a land and a command. We've got a command already, so we'll ship this one, but we'll keep the land. We do want to hit 5 mana at some point during the game. They pass through their 4th turn without adding anything else to their board. They probably have all removals in hand. We'll play out the talent first. Let's see if they have any removals to use right away on the first token we generate. Then we'll follow up with the Hovership. Their Sage would normally generate them a token, but that's only if it dies. Putting it in our Hovership won't kill it, so it won't squeeze out any tokens. They play out a stoppable slasher. It too could end up aboard a hovership. Not only do we ship for free, but we're also willing to give their men a free ride aboard our craft. We're so nice. They follow up with a betrayal and we'll lose our otter token. Well done, bro. You've taken a huge step forward. We draw a Battlefront, and that will be our play. Grab your socks, bro. There's some big men coming. That's a hovership and another factory. The intelligence is artificial, but the pain is going to be real. We'll send it. Our robot overlords are hungry for opponent flesh. Meat is back on the menu, boys. We can even unlock the power of our Adagia. Let's station up. The opponent doesn't like the looks of it, and they poop it and scoop it. That's GG's, extra cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.